Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another video. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you will be updated on all my future content. So this live stream is going to focus on reducing fractions to lowest terms. In my previous live stream in my previous two live streams of adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators, this was one of my answers in my previous live streams, 5/50ths, but it wasn't in lowest terms. I did say that I would do another live stream where I reduce some of the answers to lowest terms. So for our first example, we have 5/50ths, and I'm going to go through how to reduce that fraction to lowest terms. So I would say one of the quickest, most efficient ways to reduce fractions is to divide both the numerator and the denominator by the greatest common factor. So I'm going to start writing the factors of 5 and factors of 50. So the factors of 5, there's not very many of them, only 1 and 5. Factors of 50, we have 1, we have 2, we have 25, actually, let me do them in order. 25 is a factor of 50, but let's do them in order. We have 1, we have 2, we have 5, we have 10, we have 25. And again, we have to divide both the numerator and denominator by the greatest common factor. So the greatest common factor between 5 and 50 is 5. Even though 5 is not the biggest factor listed here, it's the greatest common factor. 10 is a factor of 50, but 10 is not a factor of 5. 25 is a factor of 50, but it's not a factor of 5. The greatest common factor between 50 and 5 is 5. So we have to divide our numerator and our denominator by 5. So 5 divided by 5 equals 1. 50 divided by 5 equals 10. So 5/50ths reduced to lowest terms equals 1/10. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Please hit the like button. It really helps the algorithm. So 14/24ths, we have to reduce that to lowest terms. So I'm going to write all the factors of 14 and all the factors of 24. So our factors of 14, we have 1, we have 2, we have 7, and we have 14. Factors of 24, we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, we have 6, we have 8, we have 12. And again, we have to divide by the greatest common factor. So we're dividing the numerator and the denominator by the greatest common factor. Now, even though obviously every number is a factor of itself, so the last factor here doesn't even fit in the box, is 24. But even though 24 is the biggest factor listed, the greatest common factor between 14 and 24 is 2. Even though there's a lot of factors that are bigger than 2, they're not common factors, right? 7's a factor of 14. 7 is not a factor of 24. 12 is a factor of 24. 12 is not a factor of 14. The greatest common factor between 14 and 24 is 2. So we have to divide the numerator and the denominator by 2. So 14 divided by 2 equals 7. 24 divided by 2 equals 12. We have our final answer, 14/24, reduced to lowest terms equals 7/12. All right, moving on to example number 3. Shout out to the person that just hit the like button. I appreciate you. All right, next example, 4/20. So again, we have to find the greatest common factor between 4 and 20. So the factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. The factors of 20, we have 1, we have 2, we have 4, we have 5, we have 10, and we have 20. So looking at our list of factors, so 1's a common factor, 2's a common factor. The greatest common factor is 4. The greatest common factor between 4 and 20 is 4. And again, even though there's some bigger factors listed, they're not common factors. 5 is a factor of 20. 5 is not a factor of 4. 10 is a factor of 20. 10 is not a factor of 4. 20 is a factor of 20. 20 is not a factor of 4. So the greatest common factor between 4 and 20 is 4. So 4 is what we need to divide by to reduce this fraction to lowest terms. So 4 divided by 4 equals 1. 20 divided by 4 equals 5. And we have our final answer. 4/20 reduced to lowest terms equals 1/5. All right, moving on. Next example, we have 26/40. So I'm going to list all the factors between 26 and 40. So factors of 26, we have 1, we have 2, we have 13, and we have 26. Factors of 40, we have 1, we have 2, we have 4, we have 5, we have 8, we have 10, we have 20, and we have 40. So we have to divide by the greatest common factor. So looking at our common factors, 1 is a common factor between 26 and 40. 2 is a common factor between 26 and 40. 2 is our greatest common factor. Now again, even though 2 is not the biggest factor listed, it is the greatest common factor. Even though 4 is a bigger factor than 2, it's not a common factor. 4 is a factor of 40. 4 is not a factor of 26. 10 is a factor of 40. 10 is not a factor of 26. 13 is a factor of 26. 13 is not a factor of 40. So even though 2 is not the biggest factor, it is the greatest common factor. It's the greatest factor that's in common between 26 and 40. So we are going to divide by 2. So 26 divided by 2 equals 13. 40 divided by 2 equals 20. Shout out to the person that just hit the like button. I appreciate you. And we have our answer. We have our final answer. 26/40ths reduced to lowest terms equals 13/20ths. So the final problem of the video, we have 2/4. So we got to reduce 2/4 to lowest terms. So this will be a quick one to end the video. Yeah, we're just rocking with whole numbers in this live stream. That we're not going to overcomplicate things for everybody. Only whole numbers. Like 1.3 over 2, we're not messing with problems like that. The numerator and the denominator are both going to be whole numbers. All right. Okay. So 2/4. So factors of 2, we have 1 and we have 2. Factors of 4, we have 1, we have 2, and we have 4. So the greatest common factor between 2 and 4 equals 2. So we have to divide our numerator and our denominator by 2. Two divided by 2 equals 1. 4 divided by 2 equals 2. And we have our final answer. 2/4 reduced to lowest terms equals 1/2. All right, that is my live stream for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the video. And if there is an area of math or reading that you're having difficulty with, put that in the comments and I will do a future video on that skill. Until next time, this is Mr. Camilleri signing off. Have a great day and God bless.